President, Chair, Members. A thought experiment is a hypothetical situation in which a hypothesis, theory, or principle is laid out for the purpose of thinking through its consequences. One such thought experiment I'd like to tell you about is known as the trolley problem. So, allow me to set the scene. Imagine I am a signal controller working for a railway company. I am stationed in a signal box with a control panel in front of me and a large lever that controls a set of points close by. It's a beautiful, warm, sunny day, and in front of me are two rail tracks, one running in this direction and the other in that direction. Behind me is a single track going off around the corner into the distance, and when the train approaches, it's my job to alter the points and ensure that the train continues along the correct route. However, today is a Sunday and all the lines are closed for maintenance. No trains are running, but I'm working overtime in case any of the maintenance workers need to have the points switched to work on. On that line, we have a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 workers, approximately 80 metres away. It's their lunch break and they are sat in the middle of the track, backs towards me, facing into the sunshine. Though the sun is bright, I can just about make them out in the distance. One of them is tilting their head back to drink from a bottle, and I can faintly hear the sound of their radio blasting out music, and perhaps even a couple of them singing along. On this line, there's a single maintenance worker walking along the track away from me. It's his job to inspect the rails for any damage. It's quite a boring job, so to alleviate the dullness, he's wearing his headphones, listening to music, he's lost in a world of his own. Suddenly, I look over my shoulder and I can't believe what I'm seeing. A maintenance trolley, which is basically a large unpowered and unmanned metal trolley that rolls along the rails, is loaded with heavy equipment, has somehow got loose from further up the track and is careering along at high speed towards the points and the 5 workers in the distance. It's impossible for me to warn them in time, and with the weight and speed of the trolley, they are undoubtedly all going to be killed. However, I could do something. I do have control of the points and could quickly switch the trolley onto this track, which would undoubtedly kill the single maintenance worker. So what should I do? Stand back, do nothing, let 5 people die? Or save their lives by moving the points, but in doing so, ensuring that someone else dies? Now, this situation may seem like a straightforward decision to some. Diverting the trolley to save 5 lives at the expense of 1 is justified because it results in the greatest benefit for the greatest number of people. My decision would therefore be based solely on the achievement of an outcome that benefits the greatest number of people. However, others may take a different view. That view being that I should adhere to moral rules or duties regardless of the consequences. If I do nothing, then the 5 workers dying would likely be considered a tragic accident. However, if I intervene, knowing my actions will undoubtedly cause the death of someone who otherwise would have lived, then suddenly I am the one who decides that an entirely innocent individual who otherwise is not in danger at all would die. Is it morally right that I make the decision regarding someone else's life? Do I then become a murderer, or at least potentially guilty of manslaughter? What would you do? The crux of the trolley problem is that there's a distinction between deliberately killing someone and letting them die. The first is active. I have to perform an action of pulling the lever, causing someone to die, while the latter, doing nothing, is passive. And therefore, I am not necessarily active in causing the death since this thought experiment was created in 1967, many great philosophers have argued for decades about it, and as of yet, none have reached a conclusion on the best course of action. So, if you ever find yourself in such a dire situation, with only seconds to make a decision, have some reassurance that if the greatest philosophical minds cannot come up with a solution, then you can probably be forgiven for deciding to pull that lever or not.